They are the class. They are fun.
Hey everybody, it's Talk Fort Dodge again on a Thursday with Todd and Jeremiah. And today we have Grace Counseling and Consulting with us here in Fort Dodge to talk about Christmas stress. And I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself to get started.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Jim Seward, and I am a licensed mental health therapist here in the state of Iowa, practicing with Grace Counseling and Consulting, LLC, at Fort Dodge, Iowa.
And I am Denise McDuffie. I'm an LISW practicing at Grace Counseling and Consulting, LLC.
And I love the topic, Christmas stress, because I saw a Facebook post by my cousin stating that there is absolutely no Christmas talk at all until after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And his wife posted, that is not true. We're getting Christmas stuff out tonight.
Oh, wow.
Well, there's some families that start Christmas talk in July because they've got to draw names, such as mine with my sisters. It's like, when we meet at Thanksgiving, we're drawing names. I'm like, really? It's July.
Yeah.
It's way too much. We used to do that all the time, but now that the families have gotten older, we just don't get together like that
Right.
anymore.
Mhm.
But I
Right.
forgot about drawing names every
Oh.
Christmas, and then the grab bags, and then the white elephant gifts.
Yes.
Mhm. Well, believe it or not, 69% of people find Christmas very stressful. Only 8% find Christmas to fulfill them with happiness.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's much due to family gatherings, financial situations, shopping, and time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of which we are running out of.
Yeah.
So
Fast.
hence the word stress, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's got any time to do anything anymore. Nobody has any, money, inflation. You're trying to fight all that at the same, and getting together. Sometimes there's awkward family circumstances that
Yes.
you end up hanging out with people that you're related, but
Yes.
you just don't like.
Mhm. That's exactly
Right.
right.
I
Yeah.
have to be with this person for 4 hours.
Right.
That sucks.
Well, and here's the thing is that even though you feel obligated to hang out with those people, there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries.
True.
Right.
Not just with family gatherings, but also with what you feel committed to when it comes to buying gifts.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And setting boundaries actually is one of the way to deal with stress, right? We have just by saying no, and there's for others to deal with stress because we're all stressful, right? We have a lot on our plate. We've got a lot of responsibilities, but we cherish those responsibilities. So, one responsibility may be a little bit higher grade than the other.
Yeah.
So maybe you say no to an other, or I'll spend time with you, mom and dad, brothers and sisters, but I'm going to from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. because I've got another family member to go visit or
From 4 to 6,
I just
and this
can-
is the time all
Right.
year.
Or the
Right.
3-year-old needs a nap.
Exactly. That's
Oh.
exactly right.
Yeah.
that's,
Or he's going to be a little ass at 7 o'clock tonight when we need an open presence.
Right. And I don't need you gossiping about that. We're gonna go lay him down for a nap. Exactly.
right. Well, and also the gossip or the discord between the families, from the past, right? That makes it so difficult to have that smile on your face and say, welcome, it's Christmas, or welcome, it's Thanksgiving, knowing the back stories of a lot of
Backstory
everybody.
there. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
the lack of gossip and discord is probably, I don't have it on my sheet of how to deal with stress, but maybe that should be one where we just don't talk about, we just don't talk
a little
about that.
amnesia on Christmas just
This
makes
is
it a
this
little
is
better.
this
This
is good
association
counseling.
is
This is like do brush it under the carpet
Right.
for
Right.
today.
Right, just shove it down.
Deny.
Yes.
It
Just
won't
shove
come up
those
that later.
emotions.
Trust me, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
But
and if
now.
we are accepting clients, so if you're wanting to learn how to shove it down.
December
Brush it
26th,
under the carpet and then call us and come in and talk.
Right.
December 26th, it's filling up already. So
That's right. Well, actually, starting this practice 2 years ago, 20 years ago, I was working in an agency in the Quad Cities area, and between Christmas and New Year's, they had the time off, and that was every year. And I was like, there's going to be a day when I'm going to have that, and I do. So the 26th will be not open, but we'll be available. We'll take phone calls and we'll set you up for the
For
first
New
part of the
Year's
meeting.
resolutions.
For New
that's right.
That's right.
All
I'm
right.
gonna
That's
get
a
my
whole
head
nother
right for
statistic.
next year.
I heard by February 1st, like 74% of the New Year's resolutions are out the window.
Oh, yeah, most of them are done. I
Yeah.
usually make it, let's talk about it. We never get past that point.
Mhm, right. Another thing we want to talk about is financial stress. And especially with a lot of single parent families, it can be very overwhelming. You can feel kind of a time crunch when it comes to the holidays. And there's nothing wrong with making sure that you follow your budget.
Yep.
And even make homemade gifts.
Yep.
So there's nothing wrong with accepting that for your reality.
Not at all. Nope. And so another element of dealing with stress is give yourself time. And as Denise just shared with, making things homemade, which is really a true testament of your heart. It's just a beautiful thing. It takes time. And that's something you might, be wise to hear a loved one say in March what they would like. And you're like, that might take me 4 months. So
It's gonna take some time.
So you you plan accordingly with the time, and also we can always go back to boundaries with time too, as we stated earlier. It's like from 1 to 3, or we're going to be there on that day or this day, and I grew up with a family of 4 sisters, and my parents, of course, they passed away. But my 4 sisters are still around, and they may be watching. They're not in the area, but
We'll see it eventually.
yeah,
The internet's a big place.
yeah, that's true. And love them dearly, but a lot of times, they'd say we're gonna do something on this day or on this time of that day, and I show up way before that time, and that event had already occurred. So not only time for yourself, but also time for others.
Yep.
Like respect their time. When you say you're going to do something at a certain time, then do it. It's not necessary to add that unwanted, unwarranted level of responsibility to rush.
Mhm.
Just enjoy,
And-
right? Sit
Yeah.
back and enjoy.
And love the day.
And
Yeah.
love the day. Exactly.
That was one of our favorite Christmases is when I was in the restaurant business and things were not good. And we went out and got a bunch of concrete and we made all of our grandparents
Mhm.
stones. We used
Right.
pie pans
Oh,
Mhm.
and we went to Goodwill and got jewelry, like
Mhm.
just like rocks. Like it was like a $2 bag and it was like full of different jewels that were all just ugly old people ones. But
Yeah.
together it was really cool. And then we
Mhm.
made it into the concrete and all the kids like put their fingerprints or we did different designs for every one of them.
Mhm.
well, that's
And
precious.
and
Yeah.
so it was like garden things for all of the
Yeah.
aunts, uncles, grandparents
Mhm.
because $20 a piece on all of them was like a lot. And
Yeah,
we bought all
absolutely.
that stuff for like $25.
Yeah,
Well,
I grew up like that too. My mom one year made stockings and took orders, and that was something that not just the event of Christmas meant a lot because we had more money because she did that, but making them together as a family to sell them was a huge thing, and I still have memories of that. So it was even now I think about that.
Yeah.
We
Just
give
like
my
you do.
mother, and Nate's told everybody now because he tells the story at Shiny Top all the time. So I'm going to tell the world. Mom always wanted to do. We never had a ton of money growing up either, and she always wanted to do something for the teachers. So she would buy canning jars, or she'd have them left over,
Yes.
Mhm.
and she'd melt down Welch's jelly
Oh,
and put it in a jar, and then put the paraffin on top. She made it. So for years, he would take jelly and give it to the teacher, saying it was mom's homemade jelly, but it was really just Welch's. She would melt
you
it.
probably got a teacher watching this
Oh,
now.
and mom's gonna watch it too, and Patty Cox and Delpha Holtzman, and they all got mom's famous jelly, which was just Welch's.
Oh, Jeremiah had a great
Can't
analogy
go better.
about the ugliness of things, just a mess. But just like stress or responsibilities or even counseling, you got, we come in with a mess, but boy, you put it in order, it becomes beautiful.
Mhm.
So, and just, just that time and what Denise was saying, even you, Todd, about the memories. Like who
Yeah.
wants to remember rush,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and we got to get this done. We got to, it's like kind of like stop. as you said earlier,
Mhm.
just enjoy the moment.
Just enjoy it.
Take joy in the journey is what I like to say.
Mhm.
Yep.
So that's another way to.
Yeah, every year for Easter, we get the kids so much crap when my dad comes over with a $5 kite from Walmart.
Mhm.
And every year they can't wait for Grandpa to come over and fly a kite.
Right.
Oh, I love
Exactly.
You know,
the toy and they
all
play
these-
with the
they got
box
all
more than
these
they
gifts.
play with the toy.
Mhm.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
So
So
you talked about having that time off between Christmas and New Year's. I worked at the prison years ago. I told you guys that.
yes,
They I had vacation, so I took Christmas to New Year's off,
there we go.
and I bought the kids a Connects roller coaster and Ferris wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And my son Jordan and Katie, my daughter, spent 3 days putting this theme park together in the living. It took up the entire living room
Oh,
floor,
wow.
and we had so much fun building that. But it's that memory looking back, and I know Jordan remembers, putting that all together, and
Yeah.
the whole living room was full of, this huge roller coaster for until probably the end of January. It was up
Mhm.
forever because we put so much work into it. Nobody wanted to take it down.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that.
So the memories are just, and those, they pop up while we're talking about this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
that's great.
absolutely.
That's great.
Mhm.
Well, another, and I feel like we're on to just kind of going back and forth here, but another way to deal with stress, as we talked about, is partaking in self-care. So even creating those memories and being with each other. One of our deepest needs as a human is to connect, is that affiliation. So have that with your family as you're gathering, making memories, building things, and that in itself is self-care.
Mhm.
But if you like to do a turkey trot, 5K, the morning of Thanksgiving, more power to you. I mean, that's
I'll
awesome. Or
All
you
time,
want to,
yeah.
yeah. Or if you want to go,
I did do that in the morning.
Oh, that's for you.
Yeah, I sprained my
Did you?
ankle. It was terrible.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
remember.
It's terrible anyway.
And it was cold and muddy.
yeah. So some kind of read a good book,
Mhm.
and just make sure you give yourself that gift of self-care.
Mhm.
And by saying no, setting boundaries, you're doing that.
Mhm.
So then I have something that's in addition to that, setting boundaries, saying no, is asking for help. A lot of times, we are
Too proud.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's exactly. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. We are a victim of our ego, and you just said you took 3 days to build this mechanism. I guess I can't remember what it was, but surely your son and daughter asked for help,
Oh, yeah.
and you're willing to give that help.
Sitting on the floor. Fingers were raw.
So
together.
yeah. So if you're planning a big meal for Thanksgiving, which many people do, or a small one, in your small family, and you have a turkey loaf, which nothing wrong with a turkey loaf. Yeah. Ask for help, delegate, make those memories by saying, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? So talk about memories. One of my memories as a young adult, on my own self-sufficient, they said, Jim, bring the rolls. I'm like, okay, well, I'll make some. No, I had to go buy some.
After you tried to make
I
some.
tried to make some, and I was like, there's something wrong because they're like stones. So I did go and buy.
And then you
just
ended up
dunkers.
bringing rolls for the next 27 years, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's right.
You had dunkers. You just got to dunk them in some coffee.
Right. Or the gravy.
Yep. And then the last to deal with stress is to delegate. And I personally have a difficult time doing that.
Mhm.
So just delegating, who will bring the rolls, who will bring the turkey, who's going to bring the gravy, the cranberry sauce, all the fixins,
And I think that makes it a little better almost. It makes it gives you some input into it. I mean, people
Absolutely.
want to be delegated to do something.
Yeah.
So, my mom always wants to bring, a dessert or the cheese tray or whatever. And,
Mhm.
my brother's always got something goofy that he's working up and, I'll
Oh,
bring
and
that.
I'm a busy bee, so when I go over to my wife's family, and I'm standing there, I don't want to just sit down
Right.
and stare into someone's eyes. Like,
Right,
right.
right.
I would rather just tell me something to do. Like
Yeah.
I will go do dishes. I will,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
Right.
like you just said, some people want it. Like I'm one of those. Like
And
I'm
that's
not in my realm. Tell me what to do. I'll do it.
and that's just the psyche of all of us is wanting to connect. That's just a picture of us connecting. And Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holiday season is a beautiful way to connect with family and friends and loved ones and treat them as such.
Mhm.
And delegating is a great way to show that connect. And also accepting when somebody says no. Right? I don't. That's not right. I just kind of
Hey,
accepting
bring the
when you
rolls,
say
bring
no.
the rolls. Oh, I can't, I'm busy. And when they say no, they can't understand that, they can't.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Whatever the excuse.
I'd rather them just say no
Yeah.
than to come up with an
Yes.
excuse.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, don't make an excuse. Just say no.
Yeah.
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 Or just say you don't want to. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Right.
A lot
so
of
we can get someone else that does.
Right. A lot of families are divided. Mine being one family that is divided, so I feel pressured to make time for my family in Fort Dodge and my family in Des Moines. And so don't be afraid to speak that out. When my family in Fort Dodge said, "Hey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?" I said, "I'm going to Des Moines to see my family there, and then I'll be back to see you guys." But I'm not going to hide that. I'm going to
And if
embrace
you try,
it and
it's
own
going to
it.
make it worse.
It is
Right.
absolutely going to make it
Yeah.
worse.
Just
So
gonna put
I'm
more
just
on
going to
you.
put it out there. This is where I am. I love everybody, and I'm going to divide my time, and that's the boundary I'm going to set.
This is what it is.
I love the boundary.
Yeah,
Yes.
boundaries are good.
I mean, you come out and you say it, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's plan on supper at your house at 6:00.
Yeah, you can feel your feelings about that. That's okay. They're your feelings.
Yeah.
I don't have to own them.
They're
You
yours.
have to own them.
Yep.
And I am going to enjoy both families, both sides of my family. Yep.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I'm going to make the best of my time with you while I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
not going to be
absolutely.
worried that I'm supposed to be somewhere else or I'm letting somebody else down.
Right. No.
I can be more present in what we're doing because I'm.
I remember when I met Jenny, I told her that my family meets on Christmas Eve,
Mhm.
and she goes, "Okay, well, she meets with her whole big extended family on Christmas Eve." It's like, "Okay, well, do you want to stop by?" And she's like, "No, we're just dating. That's my family forever."
Mhm.
And guess what? The next year, I was at her family's thing, and that's what we've done every single Christmas Eve since. So
Right.
You set those
that's what
things
she
up.
said. That's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Right.
So let me piggyback off of something that seems to be kind of a side of what we just talked about is the acceptance or the non-acceptance of those boundaries, where you may have the individuals who don't accept no for whatever reason, for whatever happens, and then the chatter happens behind the person who said no back, and then so if I were to say no and people are chattering behind me and I catch wind of
Yeah.
I catch wind of it. You don't have to feed that. You can
Mhm.
like Denise just said, that's their feelings for you. So you're not adding more stress or even pain in the situation, unwanted emotions. You just say no to that. Say no to that negativity. You can still love them and
Mhm.
still love them.
Mhm.
100% love them. And it's just their way of reacting.
Mhm.
So what I find with me in that situation isn't that I understand you can't be there, I understand you have to say no, but there's still some disappointment that I have to deal with when somebody says, "Hey, no, we can't be there, we have to go to the other side for Christmas or whatever."
And it's okay to be disappointed.
And it's disappointed. It's disappointment and understanding that it's not, maybe it's not the chatter, maybe it's not that,
Right.
maybe it's just they're disappointed you're not going to be there.
Yeah.
And understanding that in the grand scheme of things. So and then you're not so upset about it either to say, this is
Mhm.
disappointment. This isn't
Right.
anger. This
Yeah.
is you're disappointed.
It's okay to be disappointed. It's
Yeah.
okay to be angry.
I'm glad you're
As long as
disappointed,
you-
but
yeah,
I
as
want
long as
to
you-
be there.
As long as you deal with it appropriately, right? As long
Yep.
as you're not
Mhm.
chattering in the background about your disappointment or about,
Yep.
even to be angry is a healthy emotion, as long as you're handling it in an appropriate way.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
And it took a long time for me to name those emotions.
Yeah.
Putting a name to them changes things because
Yeah.
you go from the no and you're angry. Well, I'm not really angry. I'm disappointed, and that's
So what's
Yeah.
your name for angry?
angry.
Well,
I thought maybe
it's
gonna be
crazy
like Bob or
because,
something.
right? As soon as you can name them, you can deal with them,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
As soon as you can name how you're feeling, you can cope with it better. You can process it better. You can reach out to loved ones to kind of talk it through and process it. If you can't name it, how are you going to cope with
You
it?
can't cope.
You can't
You don't know what you're coping with.
Right, exactly.
Awesome. Well, I need to circle back around real quick and kind of finish up. What else? Is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on before we wrap up?
You want to talk about your group?
Oh, yes. I am going to start a group for codependency for women. It's a closed group for women. It's open to the community. If you are interested in joining it, my number is 806-513-9808. Codependency is something that I think a lot of us deal with, but we don't recognize it. And I would love to have you join my group. Give me a call.
That's awesome. And we'll put that in the notes too. So if somebody has some questions and wants to
Absolutely.
follow up, they can just call you directly.
Perfect.
Do you do counseling like on all scales, or is it like anything in particular?
No, we do counseling. I counsel children and women. I'm open to men, but usually men want to have therapy with a man. But I do children to women. And then I'm an LISW, so I can also counsel.
Those who are
What is
Medicare.
Yeah.
So I know that there's like a big issue a while back, like about postpartum. So
Okay.
do you deal with like postpartum?
Absolutely. Yep.
Mhm.
Because this is a terrible story. Now, this is a long time ago now, but like my wife wanted to talk to somebody
Yeah.
after our first baby and
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
really know how to cope. Our baby was colicky, so it was like
Mhm.
really tough. And they said, well, we can have you talk to somebody. And it was like 2 months later.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're
And
scheduling
by that
people.
point, we already got everything figured out just naturally,
Yeah. Yeah.
and things were okay.
Yeah.
you
know,
Absolutely.
but
Right.
I
Right. If only she had someone to confide in and kind of share her experiences.
Which you
Yes.
did not 2 months later.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So we're scheduling about 2 weeks out at this point. Yeah.
With new clients.
With new
With new
clients.
clients.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's been almost 2 years that I started this, and almost a year that Denise came on board, and we truly want to be an option for the Fort Dodge area and the surrounding Webster County and other areas. We do telehealth as well, so we can see statewide. I've had clients through EAP clients from Iowa City and Waverly, and so telehealth is a real blessing from COVID.
Yeah.
It truly is.
Oh, it's something that came through.
So that is something that is an option, and definitely there are good therapists out in the Fort Dodge area. And if you so choose to want us to help you and assist you in any way, please give us a call at 515-206-1662. That's our office number, and we will get a hold of you within probably the same day, hopefully the next, and we'll get you scheduled.
Yep.
So
Well, I've only known you for about 23 minutes, and I know you're easy to talk to.
Oh,
And you
so
taught me
glad.
stuff. Look, I took notes.
Good for you.
I take a lot of notes, so.
And my mother was listening to the jelly story. So
Oh,
she put it up there for me. So.
I'm gonna have to go over.
Jeremiah, I like how you take notes, because I see my clients taking notes, and that encourages me to be very on point of what I'm sharing with them, because that hierarchy of power is very important. And we want to make sure we are sharing the tools and gifts that will only better the lives of those in front of us. So thank you for taking notes. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and Christmas is my favorite season. We gotta keep it good.
He's the 8%.
yeah. So he's like part of the 8%. I'm part of the 69%.
Yeah, but 98% of the time I'm like, the Christmas tree's gotta be perfect. The ornaments's gotta be perfect.
But thank you both for coming so much. We appreciate it, and we
Thank
should
you.
probably do this again in a couple of weeks just to keep
Oh,
on
Thank
top
you
of things.
so much. We would love to.